Well, it's not raining today, so we're gonna be working on the van again. I actually took to my mechanic this morning to let him listen to a few things. This sliding door over here is making a weird noise when you go to unlock it. Apparently that's the actual, I don't know, it's a gear that makes the door unlock and lock. So we need to replace that. It turns out it's actually not that expensive. The part, you can get the part for like 30 bucks, 50 at the most, depending on like which manufacturer you get it from. So we'll probably want to get that fixed so that's not a headache when we're out on the open road. The rain guard already fell off, so I guess we're gonna have to try to put those back on, or I don't know what we're gonna do about that. But right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna recut the flooring so we can put it back into the van, and get it cut so that it fits and isn't, you know, bumping up against the door. And then, I don't know, we'll see what happens after we get that little job done. Alright, so we've got the flooring in now that it's been recut, and much better there, where the cup holder is. So it's not rubbing up against it anymore. So for those of you also building a town and country camper van, from cup holder to cup holder, your flooring shouldn't be more than 62 inches long, and then from the back corner to the other back corner, it could be more like 65 to 66 inches long. So that's what I figured. Also underneath as well, there is a metal bar right there. And it's actually a little bit lower than the plastic trim that goes around this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a piece of wood underneath the flooring here so that when it sits in, it doesn't kind of bow a little bit like it's doing right now. That way the floor will be nice and sturdy. And then right here where the center console comes out, there's an electrical connection because it had like a cigarette lighter thing going on like down inside the center console. I'm going to cover that up with some gaff tape so some dirt doesn't get down into it, which is kind of a sketchy way of fixing this, but that's what I'm going to do. Once we get most of that done, I'm just going to go through and do some cleaning and get all this kind of gross stuff that's in here nice and cleaned up so that the van's pretty much ready to go. Looks like that works. This is the bottom part of the floor, and this is like where the front of the vehicle would be, so this would be there-ish, kinda, somewhere around there, I don't know. So for the time being, just in case this has to be changed later, I'm pretty much just gonna tack this thing on. The screws I have, I'm gonna have to recess the wood so that they can screw in flush. Look at me, I almost sound like I know what I'm talking about. I don't. Yeah, it's way better with that support. It feels like an actual sturdy floor now. Alright, time to fix that little thing. Alright, look at that. Now that is nice and safe. No dust. You'll find out pretty fast if you end up working in the audio video industry that gaff tape is like the best thing in the world. Still trying to figure out how I'm gonna do the bed. I don't know if I want to do like just one bed that's kind of long ways, or a bed that can kind of fold up into a chair. If I want to put a swivel on this seat, which side I want the counter to be on. Lots of little things to consider. What makes it a little bit more difficult is I have to keep in mind that I'm going to have to be able to open up hatches here to get to that storage space where the seats were stowing. So it'd be nice if I could have like a counter that just kind of goes across this whole area, but then it would be covering up the stow and go area, which I need to be able to get to. And I mean, I'm sure I could come up with some way to still get to it, but whatever, you know, anything in the van, I have to be able to do it really quickly and really easily, because I'm going to be getting stuff out of storage multiple times a day. And if it takes a long time to get to it, or if it's frustrating, you know, it just needs to be, these areas need to kind of be open. That way I can just, whenever I need something, I can just get something, close it, done. So those are the things I'm trying to roll over in my mind at the moment. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just gonna clean this thing now. So I think I'm just gonna get the reflectant back down here, put it back in the windows, and then put the rest of the flooring in, so we can just kind of get like a little landmark and see what the van looks like at the moment. So here it is, with all the reflectant installation put in. The floor, haven't screwed this down yet because the floor keeps coming in and out, but yeah, it's not bad. So the plan for this installation is I'm going to wrap them up in a black fabric, and I'm going to put tiny little magnets on the corners and such, and then I'm going to tape magnets with that lovely gaff tape to the corners. That way it just kind of sticks on. And I actually got a couple ideas from this other dude's video where he made like little areas where he could like pull it open so he could like peek out and see what's going on outside, because undoubtedly we're gonna get into some sort of weird situation where something's going on outside of this van that we can't see. So when that day comes, we want to have a little way to check that mess out. It's hot in here. It is hot. And it's not even that hot outside. Wow. We're gonna have to think about that for sure. Alright, so we're gonna end the video here. Had a lot of people following along and talking to me in comments and messages and such, mentioning that they were also working on a camper van that they were built specifically in a Chrysler Town & Country. So I wanted to throw some links down in the description of this video if you really are interested in following along. The first video is the guy that shows how to take the seats out. It's for detailing, so I only watched up until the point where he had the seats all out, but it was a really great video. He explained it really clearly, and I don't think I could have gotten these seats out without his video, and I didn't really see any other stuff like that on YouTube. He seemed like he was the only one. So I have a link to that down in the description, so you can check that out. Also, I have a couple of the minivan builds linked down there that I'm kind of pulling inspiration from, or potentially pulling inspiration from. The two that I'm going to link to have a bed that kind of folds into like a sofa situation. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. I might. It's kind of 50-50 at this point. Another guy who I've watched is Foresty Forest. He's such a funny dude. He lives up in Canada, and he does some pretty crazy, like, he camps in his van in some extreme conditions. But he's no longer in a minivan. He's been building out a larger one lately, but he was in a minivan for a while, and I've kind of taken some inspiration from his stuff and things of that nature as well. So those are some of the people I'm watching where I'm getting some of my ideas from. If you were interested, you may have already found these videos too, but just for my fellow Chrysler Town & Country people, you know, just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. I really hate how this is cutting off my head here, but I don't know, we'll talk about film theory some other time. I should make this like the the end screen with my end tide or whatever it does. I don't know.